Welcome to Body Energetics, evidence-based spirituality to get happy, healthy, and hot. I'm your host, Lauren Saracione, and I've been in fitness for over 22 years. I've also had 3 major healing events where I learned something new and deeper about the mind-body connection. It is my mission to help you get happy, healthy, and hot. So whether you're here for mindset work to get happy, emotional work to get healthy, or owning your desires and who you be to get hot, Body Energetics is for you. Welcome to Body Energetics, episode number 14. This is an about episode to give you an introduction to the rule of 3. And I'm holding up a couple of pieces of paper because I have several frameworks that I am going to share with you about how to objectively look at your pain so you can create a happy mindset, your healthy body, and whatever aesthetic you want that makes you feel hot, and relate it to the soul level and how the universe works. That has been what has worked for me to understand the human development, the soul expansion belief, and also just how energy functions from waves into particles. So right now, if you're just listening to the audio, I am holding up the rule of 3 image, and this will be posted on the Instagram at Body Energetics with an X. I will email it to you with the email that goes along with this episode. And I will also post a PDF of it in the group, facebook.com/groups/Body Energetics. So let's get started, shall we? We have 3 segments to a triangle, and each segment has a different relationship, a different aspect of describing the same thing. Part of my soul blueprint is I have Pluto in Libra in the 7th house, and that's about relationships. I have Mercury in Aquarius, which Mercury is the messenger of the gods. We are in the age of Aquarius, which is making a direct connection to God, not having a person in between, a religious leader in between you and God. And Pluto just moved into Aquarius and will be here for 20 years as the 1% elite power structures go away and power is recalibrated to the people. So we're in this shift of civilization. And those, what I described in my natal chart, make me perfectly equipped to describe this to you. And my early childhood conditioning and my need to prove myself right has sent me down several rabbit holes of investigations to finally like myself. And this is part of that gift through my pain. And I'm gonna have to talk about this in the episodes to come into smaller segments because it is really truly vast. This has been really a lifelong journey. And then on top of it, with the astrology, with my natal chart, it's really been a soul journey. So as long as I have been in existence, incarnating as a human is how long this is. So I can't get into the whole thing the whole way. But basically what I found out is that we've all heard about manifestation, right? And if you listen to my Awake podcast episode, I talked about my awakening process where I asked 2 questions. Who was the first perpetrator and what went wrong in the natural order of cause and effect? Manifestation has been something that's been so freaking popular. Manifest this, law of attraction, that, all these things. And it really confused me when I was waking up and actually thought to have that question of, if we are the cause of the effects in our life, how do we keep recreating nightmares? How do we have the same feelings? Oh, this always happens, right? How many times you say this always happens? It never fails. Well, we created that with our unconscious thoughts and feelings and actions. So it's if we're the creators of our own reality, why can't we just snap our fingers and say, this is what I want, and then just fall into alignment with everything that we need to be to make that thing happen. Like, what went wrong? So those questions put this all together for me. And I've correlated the three parts of our mind: conscious, subconscious, and unconscious. Why don't I just look at the paper instead of trying to have to remember it? And I looked at the symbology of the biblical texts before Constantine made the Bible a literal translation. Before Constantine switched the empire to being Christian/Catholic, the Old Testament was known to be the cosmology of, and all the people and the places, all were representing the cosmos. And then in the New Testament, all the people and the places were representing body parts. And this information was lost in the last ascension cycle, where the church got involved and things became literal, and you had to tithe, and you had to be in control of a religious structure. So there's symbology of a divine holy father, a divine holy mother, and then the divine holy child. And each one of those goes along with parts of the mind. They also go along with the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus. And they also go along with subatomic parts of a proton, an electron, and a neutron. And those ones, the subatomic parts, really fascinated me because I was studying some stuff about the ascension process. And when we are transmuting these energies in our body, we are on an atomic level changing the structure as well. Because if we go to quantum physics and we go to the split test, where waves were I think waves and particles were acting as waves and particles, even if they weren't the wave and the particle. And if you listen to physicists on YouTube crack jokes, it is so funny, because it's like all of us who are in like the spiritual community, we're like, we know for a fact this is how quantum physics works. And you actually listen to a quantum physicist, they're like, when you find the answer, you let me know, because we still haven't figured it out. And the long, short story of it, like, in these tests with the quantum physics, even if they unplugged the machine that was observing, which made them think like, okay, the split test is when the electron or when the wave was being observed. I can't even keep it straight anymore. Part of the test is when the wave or the particle was, when the wave was acting as a particle, it was acting as a particle if it was observed. But if it wasn't observed, it stayed in wave form. I think that's how it goes. So then they got a machine to observe it. And the particle changed, or the function of it changed when the machine was observing it. And then they unplugged the machine to see if the particle was going to know that the machine wasn't on. It's very hilarious. And what people have like concluded was that energy is a wave, frequency, thought is a wave. And it takes a person to think about something in order for the wave to collapse into a particle, which then can be visually seen, right? The wave is invisible, the particle is visible. I'm thinking about lipstick right now. Lipstick is a wave. I'm holding lipstick. Here's the particle of the lipstick. So this whole thing about the subatomic parts and manifestation, that when we are thinking about something, we can create it, is in like spiritual text and biblical text that didn't make it into the Bible. So the Gnostic scriptures, as well as some New Testament scripture when Jesus was explaining this, but then the words were like rearranged and edited so that you actually didn't get the full picture of what he was talking about. That it is you being surrounded by God's love, that is you in your thoughts and in your feelings creating this reality, that it is us having this connection to God the Father through our mind and God the Mother through our heart, and us being the Holy Child. And when I started to look at this as like, okay, so like to create a baby, you have to have sperm and an egg. You have to have male and female. So our manifestation is like our own child. It's our own creation. We've heard these words describing it, but it's our thought and our feeling. But the missing portion of us manifesting anything is us being that person and taking action. And that's the hardest part, because for you to be and act as the person to create the manifestation that you want, you have to let go of the things that you've used for external validation, and you have to embrace your pain to create the wisdom from it so that you don't keep reliving it. And putting this together with the chakra system, I shared with you on the hero's journey my meditation process, where sometimes I would look up what energy is stored in each chakra, and I would go in and just be like ready to experience whatever was ready to surface, or I would pick an emotion to feel. And those things allowed me to access emotions and energy that was unconsciously stored in my body that I didn't know, like, I'm upset about this. I just was like, okay, well, if this is what the energy is in that area, let me process it. And the more I was doing this and relating to the science of how the mind is working and how the traumatized inner child creates an identity in the unconscious mind, how the inner child creates operating systems and behaviors, and the body starts to function in accordance with that identity of negative, on a spectrum of negative to positive, empowered, disempowered, victim, victor. And the more I really embraced scripture in its natural form, I was like, oh, like, we've had all the tools forever of how to manifest. Here it is. And part of this beautiful journey for me is that father, mother, and child, with being in a split home and feeling very traumatized by the family situation because the two households were so different and so conflicting all the time, that I was like, wow, like, this is a really beautiful experience for me, that this is how I perceive, because this perception is opposite of my pain. I'm seeing this incredible divine holy family within us, and us having now the power and the tools within, which were part of my pain, my painful childhood. And when I went to therapy, I think I told you on one of the episodes where one of the therapists said I had all the tools within, I had all the answers within. And I'm like, what? But here they are. And in the episodes where we're going to dive into other areas of this, we're really going to take a look at how you can connect the dots for your mind, for your heart, for your behaviors and your physical body and your manifestations that are happening in your life. Because then when we take all these pieces together from the evidence episodes and from all the episodes, and we specifically use the rule of three, you're going to be able to piece together how you actually can manifest what you want and how you can objectively look at your pain to process it. And when you chip away at your pain through objectively processing it by using the body energetics coding system, by using attachment theory whenever you feel alarmed by the habit change of whatever diet or exercise program you're doing, then you can take those pieces and then go deeper to then connect with your inner child, where it's like, if you're like me and you've been an overachiever and perfectionist to prove that you're lovable, if we're coming from like that far end of the spectrum, and especially if you have stuff going on in your body that's dysfunctional, it's really hard to just be like, I love myself. I love my 5-year-old self. I can connect with her. I'm going to go ride my bike. Like, that shit does not land for us. So if we can use these tools from science, and we can use these tools from the chakra system, and we can use the tools from quantum physics, and we can use, do you see what I'm saying? We can really start to dial it down to relieve the anxiety that we have of the healing process and whatever low self-esteem emotion we're having about our body and about ourself. So that then once we take the edge off and we're a little educated on how the planet works and how energy works, and changing a perspective of the soul experience is why we had to have the painful experiences when we were a kid, then it's like, okay, now I can deal with my inner child. Now I can go get her. In episodes to come, this podcast episode will be referenced, so that you can get a little bit of like the BTS, the behind the scenes of the concepts, but we'll go into like how the solar plexus, your I am consciousness that shines your light into the world to show everybody who you think you are until you do the work to find out who you really are. And the ability to look at that everything is neutral. It's your perspective that changes the experience of it. And we'll have episodes where we're talking about the sacral chakra and the divine feminine energetics of creation, and how the creation is how we create unconsciously through these subconscious patterns. Like I don't have to think about extending my hand in front of you or towards the camera and then flexing my hand to pull it back. That's a subconscious pattern. So we are constantly creating through our subconscious patterns. And then you'll be able to like get a little, better handle on this so that your subconscious is working for you behind the scenes. And then finally, with that root chakra and your unconscious mind and the father aspect, there's, your soul, this is how I feel. Your soul on an energetic level is the masculine frequency, and your human body is the material, is matter, which is feminine, which is the beingness. The unconscious and the root chakra is the seat of the soul. This is your human design, your gene keys, your natal chart. Your root chakra is who you are as an aspect of source energy. But I'm going to share with you how these things are functioning within your own energy system and your mind and your behaviors. So that should be in your physical body. So it would be really fun. This is the rule of 3. This is part of my healing journey. I'm very excited to share it with you. I'd love to talk with you about it on the community call. So I'm going to remind you of it. It's the 3rd Saturday of the month, 1 p.m. Pacific time, where we can talk about all the conversations that I'm sharing with you, all the frameworks, all the insights from Body Energetics System. And you can go to bodyenergetics.com to sign up for the newsletter so that you can get the podcast episodes emailed to you. You can get the PDF of frameworks that I'm going to be sharing with you, and then also get the link and the reminder for the group call. You go to facebook.com/group/bodyenergetics to join our community. I've been posting in there little about each episode, so you have a quick read to see if that's for you. So I know this is a lot of stuff to go through. So I'm trying to make it as easy and effective as possible for you and your journey. Tag me. I forgot to say that on the other episodes. Tag me at Body Energetics, because then I'll reshare you to my stories. So tag when you're listening, and then I'm going to enter you into a drawing where you could win either my water bottle that has Aurora, my dragon, and we're the year of the dragon this year, or you can get this mug that is black and white, and it has Body Energetics on it. And I love that because it reminds us that we are both the darkness and the light, and we are having an experience of duality. So I'll see you on the next episode, or on the call, or in the group, or on the DMs and social media, all the things. Okay, bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you found it helpful, please head over and give us a 5-star rating and leave a review for how this was helpful for you. This is going to help me spread the word faster into more people who need this information to self-heal. Join us at facebook.com/group/bodyenergetics, where we have discussions about the episodes. Go to bodyenergetics.com so that you can sign up for my newsletter to make sure that you never miss an episode. And that's the place that you're going to get invited to our Zoom discussion that we have every single month. Tag us on social media, Body Energetics, and we will reshare your tag and enter you into our monthly drawing to win our really cute water bottle or our really cool mug.